Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
I'm sure you've heard the expression, the best is yet to come. As Christians, we know this to be true because we have heaven awaiting us at the end of our earthly life. But Abram was near what seemed to be the end of his earthly life, and the promises God had made to him hadn't even begun to come true. But he believed what the Lord had told him. His descendants would outnumber the stars. In Genesis 15, God told him, "I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldees to give you this land to inherit it." Remember me? I'm the same God who gave you the promise of this land in the past. And this promise also seemed impossible. Several different people groups already occupied the land. Abram believed, but that didn't mean he didn't have questions. He asked, "Lord, how shall I know that I will inherit it?" Good question, because much of what God was promising wouldn't happen in Abram's lifetime. He would die without seeing these promises fulfilled. God answered Abram's question with a covenant. Back then, covenants like this were usually made between two people as a way of agreeing on things both parties would do. If you do this, I'll do that. But this covenant was all one-sided. God did all the promising. Abram only had to believe and accept it by faith. God's covenant with us is similar in that He does all the work. He promises to be with us, help us, protect us, guide us, and a plethora of other promises. But it's not up to us, it's up to Him. He doesn't say, "I'll take you to heaven forever if you never sin." After all, heaven would be pretty empty if that were the covenant He made with us. No, all we're responsible for is to believe. Yep, that's it. All the work we do for God doesn't save us. We work for Him out of love because of what He's already promised. We feed the hungry, lead a Bible study, say an encouraging word because we love Him, not because we're wanting to get into heaven. That's already a sure thing if we believe. Let's look at some of the promises God gives Abram here. He starts out, "Know for sure." These are things that he can stake his life on. Know for sure that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not their own, and will serve them, and they will afflict them for 400 years. It would be a progression. Sojourners, servants, slaves. 400 years. That's a long-term planning, isn't it? Then they go from being slaves to being rich, leaving the land with great possessions. Then they would return to their promised land. That would be 400 years in the future. Abram wouldn't be around to see it happen, but the Lord said he'd die in peace at an old age. According to the timeline, he lived to see his twin grandsons, Jacob and Esau, born. Yes, he'd live a full, rich, fulfilled life and die knowing God's promises were on their way to fulfillment. To seal the covenant, the Lord God, represented as usual by fire, a torch and a smoking pot, passed between the pieces of the sacrifice Abram had prepared. Not both parties like a normal covenant, but God only. Abram just witnessed God's actions. Like Abram, God has a plan for each of our lives. They might not involve torches and fire pots or even land and descendants, but it will involve His presence, His timing, and His promises. It also includes us trusting God without fear because we know that He's got more ahead for us. What does trusting God without fear look like in your life? What promises are you clinging to?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.